Oh, it's not this episode?
No.
It's not?
No.
It's the next episode?
Yeah.
That's Reckoning.
Yeah.
No.
We could tell you want to get this off your chest for sure.
I had to get it off my chest.
Remember, it's like Dr. Dre said, the next episode.
Welcome back to Talkville, the ultimate Smallville rewatch podcast, where each week we go back. We are cruising, guys. This is, we're about to do 11 and 12. This is crazy. We are moving and shaking here. Some really good episodes. We're going to get into them. We got some special guests coming up.
Big guests.
The next
Big
episode,
guests.
The big one, which is the 100th episode. But hey, I want to say thank you, and we appreciate you guys for listening and tuning in every week. We just were in Tampa Bay, and so many great people and patrons came up to us, Stacy and Heather and Greg, and it was just beautiful seeing seeing faces that we read their names off all the time, and people who mean a lot to us. So and we're going to shout all the top tier names out at the end.
Anyway, not for nothing, but Heather and Greg showed up to the photo op with baseball caps on backwards. And I looked at them like, what's going on? They're like, we're dressed up as you. I'm like, that's the best you could do to dress up as me? But I appreciate it. I love those guys.
Join Patreon, Patreon, patreon.com/Talkville, and support us any way you can. We really appreciate it. You're the reason why we keep going. And if you want us to continue, please join. And there's so many great perks of being a patron, and a great community and great people. And if you did get a chance to call into our hotline, leave a question for this episode, make sure you do for future ones. All that info and more is down in the show's description. And if you go to my Instagram at @Rosenbaum, you go to my link tree, you can see cons that Tom and I are doing. We're doing Rose City. We're doing the Smallville con in New Jersey, and a lot of other good stuff. Cameos are on there. The Inside of You online store with great Smallville merch, and the Talkville podcast website with tons of Smallville and Talkville merch, and pretty awesome stuff. And if you didn't get a chance to pre-order my book, pre-order on Amazon. It's called The Talented Farter, and it's a fart book, and you'll love it, and your kids will love it, and you adults will love it. So please check that out. Pre-order it on Amazon. Ryan, good to see you.
Hi.
Ryan.
That was loud.
Ryan's screaming. Ryan was a little off this morning, Tom. Yeah, he couldn't get the sign up. He's fucking falling all over the place. But he looks good. As long as you look good.
I had to go to the dentist this morning, and it is. My insurance covered it, so I was kind of like relieved that I didn't have to walk away with like missing an arm and a leg.
Isn't that
a
a good feeling?
But I had to do the X-rays, and
I don't like it. It kind of hurts those things.
I threw up once doing that because they just
gag reflex.
Oh, it's awful. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that.
I was very brave today.
Good job.
Very brave.
Congratulations,
and I got
Ryan.
through it. Thank you.
Tommy, good to see you. Without further ado, let's get into season 5, episode 11. This is Lockdown. Lockdown aired January 19, 2006. Director Peter Ellis, first and only episode. Writer Stephen S. DeKnight. He's written a few, man. He's been an integral part of this show. Guest star Kevin Daniels as Greg Flynn. Camille Mitchell as Sheriff Nancy Adams. Big episode for her. Sarah Lind as Deputy Harris. Synopsis: fallout from the recent meteor shower leads a police officer to go rogue in search for answers. Lex Luthor to risk his life protecting the truth, and Clark Kent to save his lover.
In the first shot of the episode, in the background is the picture of that doll that you spoke about recently that you stole. That's a great story.
In Lex's mansion, there's a picture above the fireplace, and I took it somewhere in this house. I don't know where it is, but the original is with me. But it faded, so I don't know how good it is anymore. But
the episode opens with Lex Luthor upset about his dirty laundry-making tabloids amidst his campaign against the squeaky clean Jonathan Kent. He gets interrupted by a duo of police officers in search of the big black spaceship because his security is normally top-notch. He's able to sniff out something awry and escape in a new panic room while his campaign manager gets shot.
I got to tell you, within about 40 seconds, all I could think about is, where is this going? Not bad or good. I was just like, what? How is this going to? And then Lex gets thrown into his safe room, and all I could think about is, why is there a bed in there? And then later we find out that they need it. I don't know. I was just sort of out.
I just immediately was
beginning of this
like, oh, someone's crashing the mansion. Don't believe it. All the security, past the security. This is going to be kind of like a dumb episode. But it was better than I thought. You know, it was just a lot of yelling and this, and I got the upper hand. Oh, I've got the upper hand. It's like, you know, if he's got like this safe room, why isn't he like pressing a button and alerting like all the police and all these things?
Well, he ends up doing that, yeah. But I mean, I think the takeaway here is this was a way to force Lana and Lex closer. That's all I can.
Yeah, my thought was from the production standpoint, bottle episode where we got to stay indoors, we got to save some budget.
Yep,
we got
100%. You're right.
Room episode.
You're right.
Yeah.
Back at the farm, Lana gets disappointed when Clark's study date doesn't turn into an anatomy lesson. Lana pushes the issue further, but Clark tells her it's complicated. As she storms out, Clark sees her side project with Lex Luthor after he drops paperwork about the spaceship. Lana calling Clark out for kissing like he kisses his cousin is a funny nod to him kissing Adrian Palicki in season 3. That's kind of funny. Back over at the panic room, Jodie Foster learns the motivation from the rogue police officer who was there the day of the Kryptonians massacre and blames Lex for not focusing on the fallen civilians and only the big black ship.
After Lana leaves, Clark goes to get some motherly wisdom. Martha plays devil's advocate and believes Lana can be accepting of Clark's secret, just like Pete and Chloe. The whole Clark maybe you should tell her storyline is getting more exhausting than the love triangle. These opinions are Bryce's opinions. They're in bold, and that's why I yelled it, in case anyone listening is wondering.
Keep going.
Perfectly timed when Clark says he can't imagine falling for anyone else. Loa arrives to work.
Loa?
Yeah, Loa.
Oh, I know Loa.
Did you have anesthesia at the dentist today?
Good God.
Yeah.
I mean, it sure feels like it.
Yeah, did you get laughing gas?
Apparently.
Jesus.
Lois, not Loa, arrives to work on the Kent Senate campaign. She meets with Jonathan, and in a wonder, they discuss their campaign plan and the mysterious funding, making it all possible.
Yes, that night as Lana drives home, talking on her high-tech Bluetooth, she gets pulled over by the same rogue police officers. They drag her back to the Luthor mansion to use her as bait for Lex Luthor. And Lex bites on the bait, goes to rescue the damsel in distress. However, by doing so, he takes a bullet before he and Lana can escape back into the panic room. I remember doing this episode thinking, oh gosh, how boring is this? Being in this panic room for hours on end. And it's just, you're kind of claustrophobic. It's like suffocating. You're in there and the cameras are in there and the whole set moves away, but they, you know, it can be moved around and open the walls, obviously. But it was just, and I remember it was tough for me to kind of get in character into that space where I'm almost dying. And because I thought
it was hard to care.
Yeah, the dialogue was just, it felt like I shouldn't be saying this stuff to her. It's too soon. I wasn't agreeing with it all. And I had to commit eventually. But I remember not really loving it.
Do you remember when you were looking at the security cameras, like the screens, a lot of times what you see in the episode isn't what the actor sees. A lot of times you see a green screen.
Oh yeah, it was nothing.
It was nothing.
No.
So you're in a room seeing nothing. You're by yourself. Someone else is reading dialogue to you.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like, you're a people person. Like you like the back and forth.
Yeah, it was just boring.
I can see it being a challenge.
Over at the Talon, Lois continues campaigning for the good old boy. Jonathan shows up to pry more into the budget for the campaign. After playing dumb initially, Lois caves and tells Jonathan that the mysterious backing is coming from Lionel. Jonathan is not happy. They sold their souls to the devil.
Yep. And over at University of Metropolis, Clark storms in unannounced to Chloe's dorm to share his grievances with Lana. He asks Chloe to betray her friendship by getting intel on Lana's spaceship project, but Chloe denies. While Clark is there, Chloe gets a concerning call about Lana's abandoned car and missing whereabouts. I mean, she hasn't been missing that long, but, I got to move the story.
I mean, listen, the cops find an abandoned car. It smells like foul play.
Maybe.
I
don't know why they call Chloe.
She's her dorm mate.
Oh, yeah, that's right. My bad.
Yep.
They're dorm mates, roommates.
Yeah, she's prime suspect number 1.
Hot on the scene, Sheriff Adams is not surprised when Clark arrives to get intel. Clark finds out that Lana's car has been bugged and supersedes off before he can learn more. Over at Luthor Mansion, Lana tries to care for Lex as he bleeds out in the panic room. With his last breaths, he explains his heroic action of shooting out the police scrambler during their escape. Their combo gets interrupted when they see Sheriff Adams walking to her own murder. The sheriff smells something afoot and confronts the rogue cops before a hop, skip, and a whistle. The sheriff gets shot from behind and dies. You know what I wanted to see? I think she deserved a better death. Ain't that a bitch? I think she should have witnessed Clark's powers right before she died. There was an opportunity lost. It's like boom, and she goes, "Son of a bitch," and then die. That would be funny or cool, but like she just dies by some random guest star killing her. So I don't think that was cool, but it could have been so much better.
One Death by Day player.
Yeah,
I was probably on another set that day.
Yeah, that sucked. That was a bummer.
It was a bummer.
That was a huge bummer. All right. Over at the planet, Clark is putting his computer skills to use and working with Chloe to hunt down the GPS owner who bugged Lana's car. After tracing it to Flynn, they head to the psych ward to learn about Flynn's psychotic break about the big black spaceship. Over on the farm, Jonathan is grinding his axe about being in cahoots with Lionel. Martha admits that taking the bribe was her doing, and Jonathan is beside himself about the betrayal. He's not happy. As Lex bleeds out in his panic room, he makes the situation light by joking about his lack of hair.
Yeah. Did you laugh at that? I did. I thought it was kind of corny.
I don't know. It's fun. Because we had just seen them in Lexmas, and we saw like this whole big thing that we were all pretty excited about. And then when this is happening, it felt natural, even though it like happened in a dream. I don't know.
I think Lex, at this point, kind of believing that dream would happen and ultimately something would go wrong. And, that whole coming out of like, it's all about money and power. I think there's some part of him that just hopes he dies right there. Like he's just having these last moments with Lana and it's comforting. And like, I almost feel like, sometimes he just doesn't, life is a lot for him and he's trying to do the right thing and trying to show his power and not showing his cards and this, and he comes clean and there's something sweet about it. And sometimes I feel like he probably doesn't want to wake up, but he keeps going.
I also think they kind of just hit the nail over the, like it was so obvious that he was only protecting Lana during this whole, like he's dying, but he's going to protect Lana. It just felt like it was a little one note.
Yeah.
The scene.
I agree.
It should have been a bigger scope.
Broader.
And then like turn to Lana and be like, I am protecting you, but at the same time, maybe it's my yeah. It would have been another element.
It would have been another element. I mean, if he would have just said, I don't want you to be sad for me. I don't want you to be sometimes, life takes you on a journey and sometimes your journey stops short or something where,
this is it.
I'm glad I got to know you. I appreciate our friendship.
Mistake where you are.
Yeah. This is it. But it would have been nice to see him just say, "Hey, it's okay. Like dying's okay. People die, and I've had brushes with death a lot, and so have you. And so if this doesn't work out, just know it's going to be okay."
He then takes an immediate left turn and tells Lana that Clark is a lucky guy and that he dreamt of a life with her. Lana is more surprised when it turns out that Lex somehow lost the big black spaceship.
The big black spaceship.
Not only is he dying on the floor, but now he is getting guilt-tripped about lying about his whereabouts. Has anybody not lied to Lana in this series? Maybe
Has anyone not lied? I mean, Smallville's a bunch of meteor freaks and liars.
Just
that should be a shirt. Smallville, home of meteor freaks, liars, and bad security. Can we get a shirt, Bryce? I think that's the new one.
Non-existent security.
Population gaslighters. Believing that Lex is dying, Lana leaves the room in a panic with a last-ditch effort to get medical help by taking the cops to the spaceship. Over in the psych wing of Smallville Medical, which we somehow have not seen before, we catch Clark and Chloe distracting a guard so they can watch Flynn's recorded rants talking about the ship he saw. That was kind of sad because he's being treated like he's crazy, but like we all...
Kind of like Jitters.
Yeah.
That character is like, no, it's real. And it's sad because he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
And he's just being punished for it. Before Chloe can finish her summary, Clark super speeds to Lex Luthor's mansion. He finds one dead sheriff and one almost dead former best friend backstabber.
Lana takes the cops to the abandoned warehouse and learns about Flynn's motivation to show the world and prove he's not crazy. However, once he sees it's missing, things turn left and Lana's forced to use MacGyver moves to take out Flynn, but is unsurprisingly knocked out shortly after. Unsurprisingly. After finally being told to leave the hospital, Clark leaves to go save Lana before Flynn's briefcase bomb blows them to smithereens.
Good explosions.
It was.
Yeah.
The explosion was really cool.
Looks good.
That was really cool. They never fail. Very seldom. Special effects really knock it out of the park this time.
What's the history of bombs being in briefcases, though? That's just like a thing that we've accepted in things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, why wouldn't you put it in something else? Because everybody knows briefcase, that's probably going to be a bomb.
It's just been a thing.
It's either money or a bomb. But if you walked in with a grocery bag, that wouldn't be very dramatic.
Yeah, or like a bag from Lowe's.
Grocery bag.
Like some wood, lumber, and a Lowe's bag.
I came here with my NPR tote and there's a bomb in it.
Or a backpack.
Maybe a lunchbox. Go ahead.
In one of the most badass slow-mos yet, Clark breaks through the wall of flames and pulls the damsel in distress from the burning building. Lana questions how Clark was able to save her, but it's nothing that her CTE can't explain away.
Unable to prove his sanity, Flynn is taken away as he continues crazy rants in the back of a police car. Clark is upset at Lex for putting Lana in a deadly situation, but immediately gets put on his heels when he finds out Lana did it on her own to save the bad guy.
Back on the Kent farm, Jonathan decides to make the family financial issues worse by telling Lois and Martha that he will be paying back Lionel all the campaign financing.
All I could think of was how.
Yeah.
Martha questions how they confront the money, and John says he sold the back 40.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I never used it anyway, so I figured we'd sell it for $1 million because like everybody wants to buy that shit.
I sold it to a film production that wants to shoot a television show back.
Yeah, I'm going to pay Lionel back with barn money. Over at Kent Medical, lonely Lex is recovering from his flesh wound when he gets a visit from Lana. He promises her that he will always give her the truth and invites her to be Bonnie and Clyde finding the spaceship. During this scene, there is some notable attraction that makes Lana hesitate.
I mean, Lana's just getting everything she's ever wanted, except it's coming from Lex.
Yeah. Clark reconvenes in the Daily Planet with Chloe, who plays relationship therapist yet again. She tells him that his lies are pushing Lana further away and that the truth will set him free. Interesting. Closing thoughts. Beginning of the end of the Clark and Lana honeymoon phase, is this kind of...
Mm-hmm.
Is it? What do you think will be the breaking point? Well, I think it's about broken. But
I forgot they were even together at this point. It's been like 5 seasons of waiting for them to get together. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even think they're still dating.
Yeah, well, I saw them slowly getting back together, but now all of a sudden he gets his powers back. He's worried about hurting her, and he starts to lie again, but he's protecting her.
That's a good setup for the next episode.
Chloe has completely 180'd from the love triangle relationship to being Clark's confidant. I like that.
Yeah.
Cool that major things happening in previous episodes like the Kryptonian massacre aren't being glossed over and are actually storylines for future episodes. So that's cool. Interesting things of note. According to writer Stephen S. DeKnight, the talk between Lex and Lana, which he mentions Clark has nice hair and how lucky he is, provides insight into Lex's envy of Clark. The working title of this episode was Closer. The shots of the exterior of Warehouse 15, including its explosion, were from the Sylvester Stallone movie The Specialist.
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Should we talk to the patron? Talkville is brought to you by AG1. I don't know how many times we have to talk about AG1 and tell these people, these fine folks out there, how much it helps. If you're trying to get into a healthy routine, AG1 is for you. I'm tired of taking tons of different vitamins every day because people say, you need this vitamin, you need that. I take AG1. I put the powder, 1 scoop in a glass of water. I stir it and it tastes delicious. And I'm getting all the things I need. It gives me energy, focus. I can't put it down. I do it every morning, Tom. It's a routine.
You don't even have to take the pills anymore, which is a great place. I mean, who really likes to take all those pills? Like, you should 1 drink and you're good to go.
AG1 helps me build a healthy morning routine in just 60 seconds. I can get my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, pre- and probiotics. A lot of people don't talk about pre- and probiotics. This has it inside. My digestion is so much better. AG1 has adaptogens and more, and that's why we've been drinking AG1 for years.
In AG1's research study, 80% of participants noticed less gas, and bloating. That's always good. After 30 days of drinking AG1.
In a recent AG1 research study, AG1 was actually shown to double the amount of healthy bacteria in the gut. These healthy bacteria work together to help break down food and are known to help alleviate bloating, help promote digestive regularity, and help aid in digestion comfort long term.
Listen, I use this every day, sometimes twice, especially when I'm traveling, and this stuff works.
Start with AG1 and notice the difference for yourself. It's a great first step in investing in your health, and that's why they've been a proud partner of mine for so long. Try AG1 and get a free bottle of vitamin D3K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase at drinkag1.com/talkville. That's a $48 value for free if you go to drinkag1.com/talkville. Check it out. Now it's time to talk to our patron, our top tier. Join patreon.com/Talkville, and you could become a top tier or a patron and support us and maybe be on the show. And here is Briar. Briar, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I am doing well. Tom's here with sunglasses.
Can you hear me?
Take those off. And Ryan's here. And we're happy to see you. How many times have you seen Smallville, the series?
Like all the way through?
All the way through.
I have a tendency all the way through, I think maybe only twice.
Okay.
My thing is I usually hit about the midway point where things start getting hard, and I start back over at season 1 because I like the early seasons because everything is very nice and soft and sweet in the first few seasons, and then everything starts getting very rough in the middle seasons.
Don't you feel like the show, when you start getting into the complexities and the dark side and all these things, it becomes so much more interesting, and the mythology and
oh yeah, absolutely.
But you don't like to see the dark things. You like it to stay light when everybody's happy.
I like it, but I have to be in the right mood for like the middle seasons.
Well, you've seen more of the show than the other 4 of us that are on this call.
True. Very true. What's the Funko Pop behind you?
I have this one, and then
is that Lex?
Yes, that's the Smallville one.
Nice.
And then I have this, which I got from my local comic store.
I love that. That's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Got you into?
I have a whole bunch of figures.
What got you into Smallville? What was it about Smallville that you kept coming back?
So it was actually a little weird because I got into Smallville after the show had already wrapped, because I was just getting into comic books in general, and I had a friend who was really, really into it at the time, and it was like literally right after the last season of the last episode of last season had dropped was when I started watching it. But I think for me, one thing that I really like about it, Smallville is the story of this kid who grows up in this very, small conservative town, and he knows there's something very different about him. He's afraid to let everybody in on it. He's afraid that that he won't be accepted, that he'll be rejected even by the people that are close to him. His parents keep telling him that he has to hide it. And
it kind of sounds like Footloose.
Yeah, it is. It's Footloose.
Footlex. I grew up in the 2000s as a closeted lesbian in the South. And I think for me,
not easy.
It was a narrative that was very easy to relate to.
Yeah, that had to be really tough,
Mm-hmm.
Was this more of an escape for you?
It's very escapism, but it's also, I think the characters are something that feel very familiar to me. The storylines, it's very I think Smallville in general is very relatable for a lot of people. And I think that's kind of what I really liked about it, because before Smallville, I was like a Batman person. I wasn't a Superman person. I'm sorry.
So is Tom.
But then I got into Smallville, and Smallville changed that, because I feel like it really makes the character of Superman, the character of Clark Kent, very relatable in a way that, he isn't always in some other adaptations.
I also did it occur to you when you watched it the first time how well the show was made, like with the camera work? Like,
oh yeah,
there weren't
absolutely.
many shows on TV or any, like a lot of shows just set the camera up. We were like moving around, and I thought it was high quality.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's some of the special effects, it's easy to look at now in 2024 and be like, oh, these are cheesy, but they weren't at the time. They were really, really good. Yeah. It's a really well-made show. I immediately from season 1 was in love with the show.
What did you think of this episode Lockdown that we're talking about today? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so Lockdown, I really, really like it. One of the things that makes it hard for me watching some of the later episodes is like, I think it's very obvious, like Lex is my favorite character. And so sometimes bad things start happening to him and I start being like, oh, I don't want to watch this. But this episode I really like because it's, I think, one of the last episodes we really get to see Lex kind of being a little more heroic. Obviously, it's still a little like morally gray in this season, but you get him saving Lana's life. And this was actually like one of the episodes that made me kind of get on board with Lex and Lana a little bit. And then season 6 happened, which is its own thing. But I actually really liked them in this episode. They were really sweet. They had good chemistry. I loved Kristen in this episode.
Kristen's a really good actress to be able to portray that.
Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this episode. It's like the 3rd episode in a row that Lex has almost died. He got shot like twice in 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Shoot someone else. Give somebody else a headache. A head. So you didn't mind Lex divulging all this information to Lana and sort of expressing to her how he feels about her. You didn't mind that. You weren't grossed out.
I wasn't. One thing that I think is very interesting about the Lex and Lana relationship, though, is it feels like even when Clark's not there, it's still all about Clark. Like, it's still, Clark is the specter that's hanging over the relationship the entire way through. Like, he's like shot and delirious and he starts talking about Clark's hair. Like, it's still all about Clark. And my interpretation of it is always that a lot of his interest in Lana was because this is the friendship with Clark just ended a few episodes ago. They had like a big fight. And I think it is a way in some ways to, he has a lot of jealousy and a lot of really complicated feelings about Clark at this point, but also I think it's kind of a way of hurting Clark because he's mad about the friendship ending. And so for me, it's like that relationship is so tied up in Clark that I think if Clark were never a part of it, I don't know that Lex ever would have been interested in Lana like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I totally agree with what you're saying. I mean, the show could have been called Clarkville because it all does revolve around him. But I do think that when I see Lex and Lana together, I think Lex does like Lana for her what he thinks is honesty and soul and character. And I think that's the thing that I've always thought that made anything believable between Lana and Lex. Because she's the one person who doesn't want something from him and only wants to help him.
Yeah.
But you're right. In that moment, then Clark comes up. So,
you know what I don't like? I just was remembering. I don't like, even though that scene never happened because Clark sort of erases that from happening when Lana comes to the mansion and then Lex sees the ring and gets upset and kind of grabs her and throws the drink and all this stuff, and he's drunk. I didn't like that I don't think Lex would ever do that. So if Clark didn't change the past and what happened, it really makes Lex look bad and it's out of character. And I don't think he would ever be aggressive or that upset with Lana. And it upset me, and even though it didn't happen, I guess, it made me think, well, why did he act like this? Why did he, and then he rushes after her in the car, which causes her accident, all that. And another thing that bothered me was that Clark, he saves Lana, but why didn't he just tell Lana like he did that he has these powers and say you can't go to Lexus tonight because a bus is going to hit you and protect her from that? Or does he think she's going to die anyway in some way?
We'll cover this in the next episode.
Oh, it's not this episode?
No.
It's not?
No.
It's the next episode?
Yeah.
That's Reckoning.
Yeah.
We could tell you want to get this off your chest for sure.
I had to get it off my chest.
Remember, it's like Dr. Dre said, the next episode.
Are you going to the Smallville Con in New Jersey?
Yes, I am. So,
great.
So I'm going to be going with my girlfriend who I met because of Smallville. So,
yes,
she and I started talking on Tumblr like about a year ago because of Smallville. We literally never would have talked if I wasn't posting about Smallville.
Wow.
See,
and then
Clark,
we ended
Clark
up
helps another lovely relationship.
Smallville's responsible for your relationship.
And then she and I had been talking, and then so we live on opposite sides of Tennessee. And so last year when you guys came to Nashville, I'd kind of been talking about wanting to go and how I wasn't sure because it was kind of going to be expensive. And she was like, oh, that's like halfway between us because I'm in on the East Tennessee and she's in West Tennessee. And so we ended up making just like spur of the moment decision. Yeah, we're going to meet in Nashville. We're going to, go to this con together. And that
is that the first time you had met
together? That was the
in
first time we
person?
met in person. Mm-hmm.
Wow. A lot of pressure.
Was it everything you'd hoped it to be?
So we weren't dating yet at that time. And I don't think we would have gotten together if it hadn't been for going to that con together. So, and the funny thing is I only really went to that con because Michael had canceled on the Knoxville Fanboy Expo con a few months prior. So I think I have Michael canceling on the Knoxville convention to thank for me getting with my girlfriend.
Wow.
All right. It's called the hand of fate, Briar. You were destined to be together.
She and I are going to be at the New Jersey convention together. We've already made plans. We bought all our plane tickets and everything. So we're very, very excited.
All right, Briar, since you're a lesbian, let me ask you this. If you had your choice, Lana, Chloe, Lois.
People ask us this all the time. So
no, this is a fair question.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I could ask Tom, who'd he prefer? I could ask Ryan. I could ask you.
That's a really hard question.
You got to answer it.
She's going to say Lex.
I guess
Who is it between? What two women?
Lana and Lois.
Lana and Lois.
Personally, I would say Lana. I love Lois as a character. Lois is a lot. So I think I have to say Lana.
Right.
I don't know if I could handle Lois.
we were at a con this last weekend in Tampa, and I don't know why there was something in the air. 1 out of 5 people that I met all weekend asked me who's a better kisser on the show. Who's the best kisser?
It was me.
And I just started saying me.
It's such a weird question to ask.
I know.
Well, Briar, we love you. And thanks for being here. And this is really enjoyable.
Bye.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. We talk about BetterHelp all the time and how important therapy is. We let things bottle up and we think we can handle things, but we can't because we're human beings. And talking to someone truly helps, and it's helped millions of people across the country. Look, as an adult, do you make it a point to carve out time to learn new things as often as you'd like? Or is day-to-day life so busy you feel you never recapture that sense of childhood wonder? Kids are always learning and growing, but as adults, sometimes we lose that curiosity.
What's something you'd like to learn? Gardening, a new language, or maybe how to beat your best friend at bowling?
Therapy can help you reconnect with your sense of wonder because your back-to-school era can come at any age. Therapy is helpful for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. It empowers you to be the best version of yourself.
And it isn't just for those who've experienced major trauma. Therapy is for everyone. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online.
Designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule, you just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapist at any time, no additional charge. I know some people say, what if I don't like my therapist? Well, you change your therapist just like that. It's so easy. Rediscover your curiosity with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/talkville today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/talkville. You ever kiss someone in the morning and you wish you hadn't? It's a real turnoff. Bad breath, that is. And that goes for everyone. Yes, I created a product called Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath. Just one full cap in your dog's water. And wow, it's odorless, tasteless. You'll be kissing your dogs all day.
My breath is delicious. Yeah, mine too. It's awesome.
Rosie's Puppy Fresh Breath. Get it on Amazon today. The hotline.
Talk.
The hotline. We got patron privileges first. We're going to go right to it. We're going to get in. And we thank Briar for joining us here. Join patreon.com/talkville. Become a top tier patron or patron support us and be on the show.
What's up, everyone? It's Michael P from Texas. The episode Lockdown features the death of Sheriff Adams. How fitting was that ending to her character, and would you have done anything different if you were behind the camera?
Yeah,
Thanks.
We talked about that. I would have her see Clark's powers.
I don't know, maybe if Clark saved her, but then she still bit the dust. Like, so she got to like see like a good side first, rather than just like him like speeding in and then also getting shot.
Well, I'll be damned, Clark Kent.
This is the episode, remember, where Camille Mitchell was saying that I think it was the director was worried about her making a scene on set because of her death.
And then when I got on set and the director was there and he comes rushing up to me and he goes, "Are you all right? Are you okay?" And I'm going, yeah, I'm fine. Because we don't want any scenes, do we? And I went, no, I'm not going to
Oh my goodness.
do a scene. I know he was a sweet British director, but he was so protective. He pulled me aside and Peter Ellis.
I remember Peter Ellis.
Lovely guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but he was so worried that I was going to discombobulate on the set.
No, and I found out 2 months ago when I was in the writer's room.
Because she thought since it's her last step, she's going to be upset. But I was like, who does that? Nobody. I mean, I guess never mind.
Hi guys, this is Abhi, like Capri without the C. Jonathan goes to his headquarters at the Talon and asks for folks to clear the room in order to talk to Lois. I noticed one of the background actors exited downstage left. From my recollection, there wasn't supposed to be an exit in that part of the room, so it made me curious on stage direction. Is it one person's responsibility or is it several to ensure the action and movement around a room makes sense? Or are these accidents accepted sacrifices to get a shot, or maybe a combination?
I don't know.
It's the first AD's fault.
It's first AD is what I was going to say. First AD is in charge of that. Mm-hmm. So it is the first AD's fault. So that was probably Kevin. Here's Cat Daddy.
Cat Daddy. Hi, this is Cat Daddy, and I'm calling about episode Lockdown. In this episode, Lex is significantly weakened, and it had me thinking about his weaknesses in general. Lex, other than his, mansion security, seems to have a little bit more of a nebulous weakness, and it almost feels like in this episode his weakness is Lana. But I'm curious what you think his weakness is at this point in his story.
I think his weakness is, trusting people. No. I'd say Lana is his weakness. It's his Achilles heel. It's the one thing that he'll do whatever. He turns to butter around her. He just kind of like he'll do whatever she wants. What do you got, Scott?
Hey guys, it's Scott from Bangor, Maine. Why doesn't the sheriff have a bulletproof vest on? I mean, come on, guys. You live in Smallville.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys. Keep up the great work.
It's because it's Smallville, and because I don't think they wear them. Do they wear them maybe nowadays they wear them everywhere, and I just don't know. But yeah, too much thought going into that.
It's a small town.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Sherry?
Hello, Sherry from Virginia.
Sherry.
Why does Clark not listen to Lana? Believing in aliens wouldn't bring out his secret. Why is he scared now to kiss her when he wasn't before?
I'll tell you why. It's a very good question. Here's why. Because as we've seen, he feels people who know his secret are put in danger. And then Martha actually says, well, Pete knows and Chloe knows and they're fine. But I guess there's something different. But I think that's ultimately what Clark's trying to do is if I tell you, you're going to be in trouble. And as we see, it does happen.
Yeah, but I think she was saying like, you weren't afraid to kiss her when you had powers before. Now you're afraid to kiss her. Like when you had powers, you kissed her. Then when you didn't, you made love to her. And then when you got your powers back, you're like, I don't want to kiss her. I don't want to do anything. Maybe you just don't want to start anything because it could lead to something.
Well, I thought it was now that he has his powers back, he can't be intimate with her because who knows what would happen. So he's just thinking about the end at the beginning.
I agree.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Hey, it's patron Americo Garcia from Edinburgh, Texas, calling about Lockdown. I have a big question for you guys. If you found out that aliens exist, like Clark and the Kryptonians, would you tell anybody, and why? Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
I would.
We just opened up a can of worms for Michael, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I would tell. I mean, if I saw something and I was convinced 1,000,000%, I would talk about it. I would risk my reputation, everything, because I was so like, I saw it. I'm not crazy. I will take every lie detector test. I will give you every detail that I saw. I have never lied before. No one has me as being some con artist, and I'm a trustworthy, I would go for it. I would go for it. Hell yes. Melanie, what do you got?
I was just reminded of the SNL sketch, the Close Encounters one with Kate McKinnon.
Yeah.
It's
so ridiculous.
If that does happen, never stay in a hotel room above the first floor. Because usually what happens is those people throw themselves off a balcony.
Oh, gosh.
Hi, Michael, Tom, and Ryan. I'm Melanie from Dallas, Texas. My question is for Season 5, Episode 11, Lockdown. Do you think that this was a turning point for Lana, that she actually started seeing Lex in a different light? I feel like it was. Well, anyways, I love the rewatch. Thanks.
Yeah, maybe it was. What do you think, Ryan, Tom?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've obviously been careening towards this point, and we saw the extreme version of it in Lexmas, but yeah, I mean, I think the bond makes sense. I mean, the person that they both want to get closest to is not letting them in, and they are finding, they've both been through a lot of traumatic experiences together. And I feel like there's might be a little bit of a trauma bond.
I agree.
It makes sense.
I agree.
Hi, this is Fatma calling from Pakistan.
Fatma.
In lockdown, why did Clark tell the sheriff that he and Lana had a fight?
I guess he's just forthcoming and just, doesn't have anything to hide. Phil. Phil says, what are your thoughts on the inclusions of media freaks in the storyline this season? In the past, they randomly pop up, but now they appear with some sort of grievance to Luthor Corp or storylines from previous episode. What I like is it's not as much in your face. It's not like constant. It's more story and not so much, this is a easy fix for the episode and we don't have to worry about storyline and we're forgetting the important part of the show. And I like that there's not so much Freak of the Weeks this year. Have you guys noticed that?
I mean, enough weird things have happened in Smallville where someone from the past has a grievance about something that has just happened. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
They're sort of acknowledging the shit going down. There's some reckoning.
Rose
spoiler alert.
and Bomb rating. We're going to go to Tom first.
Now, Rosenbaum rating.
1.
Ryan Tellez.
1 as well.
Actually, I'm going to go back. This is a heater for me. I know if you never saw this episode, I think you'd be fine.
I'll give it a half a rose.
I'll stay with a high ground.
What'd you get?
A
rose.
Just give it 1.
Death and save count. 2 dead. Campaign manager and Sheriff Adams gets capped. 2 saved. Lex saves Lana. Clark saves Lana. Through 11 episodes, 25 dead, 22 saved. Series, 161 dead, 169 saved. It is time for Ryan's favorite scene. And I've been killing it this year. Tom is just sucking up the...
Because you agree with me all the time.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah, Tom hasn't won one this year.
1, and this is our 11th episode.
All right, scene 1, death of Sheriff Adams. Scene 2, Lana and Lex have a heart-to-heart in the panic room. And scene 3, the explosion save.
You go first, Michael.
I'll go first. I'm going to go with Lex and Lana. Tom?
Fuck, that's what I was going to go for.
Is that what you got? All right, fine.
No, I'm going Sheriff Adams.
Ryan?
Yeah, Sheriff Adams.
Tom gets one.
Yes.
You son of a bitch.
That is genuine too.
Yeah.
That was it was a bummer to see her go, and I was like, I wanted to give her
pick that.
I wanted to give her some flowers.
That's it for the episode. Stick around next week as we hit triple digits and talk about the 100th episode in season 5, episode 12, Reckoning. Boy, is that a big one. Big special guest. Let us know your thoughts on the episode over on our socials at Talkville Podcast or Talkville Pod. Show support for the podcast by joining Patreon, guys, please. Patreon.com/Talkville. You want more information like merch from the show or our hotline number, you can find it all in the description or my Instagram at the Michael Rosenbaum Linktree. Events, cameos, all that stuff, cons. We love you. Thank you for being here. Tommy, Ryan, always a pleasure. Bryce, good to see you. Take care of those twins. And we'll see you next week.
Remember, folks, always hold on to Smallville.
And, of course, it's time for a top-tier read-off, I guess you can call it. Well, we read off the top tiers because without you guys, we couldn't do this show. So Tom and I are here to read out the top-tier patrons, patreon.com/Talkville. Get your name shouted out. And here we go. No particular order, but we love you all madly. Leanne P, Raj C, Santiago M, ThomasTomTurner, Shane W, Sophie M, BetsyD, Abhi P, Rae H, KarenApple M, 99 more, Leilani, Brett G. Always hold on to Smallville.
Estevan G, Charlie T, Garrett W, Bob K, Tom N, Jason W, Osama A. Just saw him recently. Met his son. That was great. Glenda the Good Witch, Lana rhymes with Banana W, Nancy D, Brian G.
YVRGrips, Amanda R, Teddy127, Michael P, Ryan R, Jordan M, Randy B, Craig G, Jorel, Heather, and Greg. I may talk say butts. Brian H, Eric K, Kristen B, Darth Achilles.
Finky, early is on time. Miss Clark Kent, damn, who's that? And what was the other one that she just said? What the hell?
Holy crap.
Holy crap. That's our new top tier patron.
Holy crap.
Deadvid, General Zod, Theodore, Nathan B, Jammin J.
Doug R, Carlos C, Tommy Z, Boston 68, Ken the Limerick Guy, Corey L, Mr. Homar K, Jesse C, Claire M, D Brown, KarenApple M, Jules M, Eldon Supremo.
Leslie V, Brian P, Mick Burtz, Ginger Moose, please remember Janice from North Carolina.
Hi, Janice.
Christoph S, Michelle M, Amanda Lynn, Jessica B, and Sebastian F.
Wolfie. Hi, Wolfie. Dak Flando, Matthew and Lincoln B, Breyer, Charlene A, Marion Louise L, C. Geo, Cindy C, Nikki L, and Shannon Fofanin.
Tina E, Matt Rick, Jen T, Randy S, Cassie B, Brad A, Felicia R, Danny, Mo Mirabel, JS, Mary K, Rachel D, and Steve and Steve and Nate Danger.
Nature. When you're rich, you aren't crazy, you're eccentric. Rosenbaum fans, Sammy Sharman. Carrie Ann, the Alexander Castle, Daryl E, Jenny B76, Anna B, Monica T, Jeffrey K, Pip Kenobi, Katja C, previously on Smallville.
Keith B, Cookie K, I like that. Justin, patron saint of Smallville, Libertariat, great horse. Danny Z from Cleveland, or CLE, as we all know. Biagio C, Kal-El 38, Felicia B, Lady J, and the Salty Ham.
Murphy C, David L, Madison H, Mika, Micah J, Tori H, Kelowna A, Zebar, Z Wicked Stepdad, My Pups Like Shelby Kara, Natalia, Dr. Jace E.
Dr. G, lots of doctors around, and Dr. T. Chloe could have used you in the last episode. Krypton Knight, Brandon
Is Dr.
C.
T Dr. Turtleneck?
Oh.
As an inside. Go ahead.
Brandon C. Just blew my mind. Ned L. Flirtatious B.
Pre-6, Kurgan K. Hunter, Nam and L. Gorgeous TV, Smallville for Life, Bobby B. Bryce R. Reese S. Kara C. Pico Delgado. Kyle W. J. Burke, Kendrick F. Happy birthday, Lindsay B. And Cece Storm. We love you guys. Couldn't do the show without you, and you're just awesome. It's a privilege. It's an honor to read out your names. Tommy, we'll see you next week.
Thanks, buddy.